We're glad you're with us live just outside Charlotte, North Carolina. The NASCAR Nextel All-Star Challenge here on FX. Big night of festivities. Red Hot Chili Peppers performing a little later. A lot of racing. And from the Hollywood Hotel, Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, the gang all here. And a pleasure to have Steven Van Zandt with us. He's still on the Sopranos, world-class guitarist, you Springsteen fans know. Nice to have you up here. How are you?
Thank you. Good, good. How you doing?
What brings you to the track, Steve?
I happen to be in the neighborhood.
Just collecting.
Richard Childress is a friend of ours and invited us down. Me and a couple guys from my office. You know, and we've been talking about doing some things together.
Right.
We, as you know, have the Underground Garage radio show. And we're going to expand that next year into something called Rock Stars and Muscle Cars. And kind of involve rock and roll with cars and put together a little bit of an exhibit and take it around and show the connection between cars and rock and roll because they're both uniquely American, you know.
So is this your first NASCAR race?
You know, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up... my uncle was a drag racer. Okay. You know, that's as close as I got, you know, and down in Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Okay.
But I always loved it, you know, but I never got to a race.
All right. So this is legitimate business with Childress, right? This isn't anything, you know.
Don't start. Come on, don't start.
I wouldn't call it legit. But it's fun, you know.
Just tell how from being a musician into the acting role, because there's a generation that just knows you from the Sopranos show.
It was just a freaky thing. I happened to be on TV inducting the Rascals into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and David Chase saw me and said, let's get him for the TV show, you know.
And the role, did you feel comfortable right away? Or?
You know, I did. I don't know why.
That's what worries me.
It worried me. I don't know how David actually saw that I could do that, you know. He just saw the Jersey connection, I guess, and all that. But I had been a fan of the genre. I had always read the books and watched the movies, so... And I knew guys that were kind of like that growing up.
Yeah,
see, I told you.
You're a natural. Well, hang for a moment here at this isn't the Bada Bing or whatever, but it's the Hollywood Hotel. And, you know, the boss, you have a familiarity with him. And, of course, tonight, the All-Star, the top driver will be the boss, the king, the A#1, the creme de la creme. Our Larry Soprano McReynolds set the scene a little bit on the Charlotte territory earlier.
You know, the All-Star race brings the racing world back home to Charlotte. Race teams, their drivers, owners, almost all of the NASCAR world resides here in this area. But Charlotte isn't just about racing. It's been my home for 17 years, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Green fields, blue skies, and lakeside living. Can't get much better than that.
All right, so the territory here is a little bit different.
Little Steven,
okay.
You think there's a place for me?
Yeah, Steve, can we get Larry a spot on the next episode? We talked to
I
David
love I'll see what I can do.
Okay, that's right.
But he's got to lose that hat. Gotta lose that.
I know the accent's a little off, but I believe I can do it.
The hat's got to go, but you know you're in.
You don't have a lot of southern crew
I can already say, you think a guy from Alabama could fit in up there?
Well, I think
would he kind of stick out like...
He might stick out.
Yeah.
You guys would get rid of him.
Man, I'm from L.A., man. I'm from L.A. Lower Alabama.
L.A.'s worse. You got even less chance of living through an episode.
Yeah, that's what I guess. How do you survive on this shit, right? You just wait to see if they give you a script that continues?
Well, yeah. You know, it makes renegotiating a little interesting.
A little bit difficult?
Well, can we expect some new and exciting stuff next year?
Yeah, there's going to be a partial 7th season of 8 shows. We got 2 more left in this, this year. And don't miss this week.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say anything.
As long as you're in it
this
more.
week. Well, I'm not saying I'm going to be there because you never know what happens in these next 2 episodes. You know?
I liked when you almost took over. You almost had control, and then
only for a week.
It slipped away. Hey, the drivers here, Red Hot Chili Peppers performing later. You can appreciate.
Yes, I saw them before. Yeah, they're terrific. They are great, and no, it's really a fantastic thing. If you've never been to a race, you know, you got to get to one of these because it's just an incredible circus. You know?
Well, good luck with the project. Thanks for coming by and saying,
Yeah,
keep up
he's
your work
our
on the show.
resident clown.
So I wanted to be a rodeo clown, and I failed, so they put me in this position. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate
right,
it.
guys.
Stephen Van Zandt. We didn't get a chance to talk about music. And
He
there's
was
Larry
either
Mack.
very impressed or very amazed. I'm not sure. He was almost speechless.
We all are.
FX welcomes you back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. We're live. The start of things, the All-Star festivities delayed just a little bit. A big night of racing. America's best stock car drivers. Little red hot chili peppers thrown in. They're taking the covers off the cars. The skies have cleared. The track has dried out. And we hope to be racing here within the next 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll continue to talk to drivers, and our crew will keep you up to date with what's going on. Time for our Fox Flash NASCAR news and notes, featuring a hugger, a slugger, and a junior. Jimmy Johnson shook hands and hugged the Lowe's team, extending his contract through 2010 this week with Hendrick Motorsports and Lowe's. He's won the last 4 Cup races held here at this Speedway. Richard Slugger Labbe, crew chief for Dale Jarrett, lost his appeal of the full race suspension he was handed for improper adjustments after the Richmond race. The suspension starts right away. And Martin Truex Jr.'s race team won the Pit Crew Challenge held this week in Charlotte. The crew had to change tires and push the car across the finish line. The winning team received $70,000, and that's about what a gallon of gas will cost you these days. I know with Speed, you were part of the crew that broadcast. There's Martin Truex, who was voted in by the fans last week, and we'll see him in the Open here in just a few moments. His pit crew on it. But let's talk about Richard Slugger Labbe and losing the appeal. Kind of take us through a little bit how that works in terms of when a suspension comes down, how NASCAR handles these kinds of things.
Well, it's a lot like any kind of due process in a court of law. You come in, NASCAR, you know, makes a point as far as what their rule infraction that they feel was broken, and then you're given an opportunity to present your side of the case as far as why you did it or why it wasn't the way NASCAR deemed it being, and you try to do what you can in front of basically an arbitration board. But the board ruled in favor of NASCAR, saying they did find it. This was a rule infraction. It should not have been messed with, and so Richard Slugger Labbe is going to spend the next 4 weeks watching this on NASCAR on Fox or FX.
All right, let's bring in Larry, Darrell, and Mike. And I wanted to mention, because with Dale Jarrett officially at the move, we're hearing a lot about Elliott Sadler may also be leaving, and then where does Robert Yates Racing go? And Darrell, I'll start with you. What are you hearing in the garage?
Well, I'm hearing that Dale Jarrett's going to go drive a Toyota.
We know that.
I heard that. You got to believe, and I don't really know anything firsthand, Chris, but I just got to believe by looking at the results of that team over the last year and a half. And you take a guy, Elliott Sadler's got to be beside himself tonight. He crashes his car yesterday qualifying for a race that he's already in. That's just adds that much more frustration to the whole program over there. They're not getting the results. Dale Jarrett said on our show the other night, he and Elliott ran the way they did at Darlington was a disgrace. Those two guys are good at Darlington, and they got lapped, and it was a bad night for them, and it just continues here. Dale spun out yesterday in practice. Elliott wrecks his car yesterday qualifying. It just seems to be getting worse.
Well, and it gets piled on. The rumor this morning in the garage area, Tommy Baldwin had been told clean out his toolbox and take off. Completely untrue. And I talked with Jim Oss this afternoon. He's the head of racing and a lot of things for Toyota. And he said, we didn't throw money at Dale Jarrett. We've not been courting him. He says the first time I ever met Dale was at a dinner here in Charlotte 2 nights ago. So there are a lot of people that are, you talked about expensive gasoline, a lot of folks are pouring it on the fire, but Toyota's coming. They're coming into this end of the sport respectfully, and they're going to be here for a long time. And I think they're going to be good competition, but I don't expect they're going to be overwhelming to the 3 makers that are there now.
And Larry,
if you listen to the other owners, they haven't turned a wheel yet. They haven't even got their car approved yet. They're still working on the engine program. Toyota I'm talking about. And people down there in the garage are going ballistic about it, you know. How they're going to ruin racing. They're going to change everything. It's going to cost us money. I happen to think that they're just going to raise the bar. It's everybody down there spending a lot of money, and they're just going to join in the crowd.
Well, and Larry, a question for you, and I know you've spent some time with Robert Yates. What does he do? There are a lot of fans of his racing team out there. Where does he go next?
Well, honestly, I talked to Doug Yates this morning, and, yeah, there's definitely frustration there because the biggest thing that Doug realizes is the Roush cars have the same engine package that they have in their cars. But what I look for Robert and Doug Yates to do, Elliott Sadler just re-signed with Robert Yates Racing for another 2 or 3 years. I look for them to look at that 88 car with hopes of finding the next Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer. I look for them in 2007 to put a young up-and-coming driver in that 88 car, regardless if UPS stays or not.
All right, thanks, Larry. Darrell and Mike getting ready to call the Nextel Open. We saw Herschel Walker a moment ago there with Joe Nemechek. Steve Smith of the Panthers will be introduced later, but we're going to go racing shortly here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.